Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero, like Defender of the Fatherland, off here to a 1 vs 1 on Kholodny Ferma wins up between the West. We got here Theodosios fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the elite Panzer Division versus in the east we got Caesar fighting for America, freedom and democracy. Here with the 1st Armored Division we're looking at Jaeger armor, mobile defense and lightning war with infantry, Panzer IV and Tiger bulletins versus a rifle company here with weapon rack and infantry bulletins there for Caesar, indicating showing some infantry heavy tactics, and obviously EC8's down the road, which showing him present a threat there to Theodosios. WS start their line to get more territory swiftly against his opponent. Pioneers moving and both players by the way there setting up sort of secure territory around vital points. In this regard, Theodosios is more focused on the centre rather than the northern compartment, which is always something I would generally advise you want to secure. So we'll have to see where it goes. Seems like Theodosios is initially going to try and aim for a more disruptive start here versus Caesar, seeing as he's more occupied around the, or focused on the church here, setting up the MD42 there. That way, controlling access more directly towards his opponent's carve point. So that's an interesting opening there from Theodosios. Very interesting opening. Second round squad there for Caesar and the 1st Armoured. We got shots fired here, Reason falling back in the face of the Grenadier. And they're going before two, finding that the rifle in the house behind the car. My god, that thing shoots a lot of bullets. It's a machine gun, Carl. It's what they do. Barbed wire tank traps as they get pushed away. Wiring off down there, will probably then push for the cut-off point itself. Maybe send the machine gun a bit further forward. So it is a bit risky. Doesn't know what's on the other side of the house there, but so he's more like just going to stick behind here. More grenadiers around there for Theodosios and the Panzer Division. So named because most of its recruits were drawn from, well, instructional units, training schools and likes across Germany, usually the best ones, and that way sort of formed umpteen elite division. I believe it was sort of under the suggestion of Guderian, or Guderian stole credit from someone else about it, but I think it's sort of roughly around that. That's a fun note. There we go, a mortar following up for Caesar to help pressure Theodosius' forces. Rather than capturing the fuel point, we can see there again Theodosius is clearly angling for him to consistently harass Caesar's point, and that way put him on pressure, and that way just put him on the defensive. Obviously getting a mortar is going to help with that, plus I imagine there'll be flamethrowers up from the rear to further assist in dealing with that machine gun. If somebody can get up through here, sneak up there into the house here, or shed, you can then sort of force out the machine gun with flamethrowers that way, so it's a bit risky there, and overall he might want to somehow deal with that shed. But there you go, launching another assault here around the carve point. We got more grenadiers out there for Theodosius and a mortar for zone. I'm not anticipating opponent to counter his machine gun with a mortar, or just not caring. Both are certainly viable theories there in terms of what Theodosius is doing. Got the pioneers up there. Grenadiers covering them. Ultimately, we got one rifle squad too many appearing there to pressure them, so he has to retreat them. But otherwise, not a badly executed assault. Got a mortar fire there opening up on the church to clear out the Germans. More grenadiers arriving here. Theodosius is just intent on keeping his opponent on the defensive here, and of course, the longer he can do so, the better. The thing is, of course, the Wehrmacht with the small infantry squads is a little bit harder to achieve and, maintain. Particularly, the opponent also has a mortar to further support. But there you go, pushes them off the carve point, then before setting up, they're rifling out in the open, going to move for the house, and hitting the carve point at the same time there. Theodosius is determined in service of Deutschland. 3rd rifle squad on the way there for Caesar. No sign of flamethrowers there. MD42 further pulling back. Grenadiers there maybe being targeted. No, it's just the MD42. Got a mortar out here for Theodosius as well. No tech up as yet. Troops reinforcing. And we can sort of see though, Caesar still got a lot of the maps. Note by the way, he's not just focusing anything there on the fighting there. He's still trying to grab the rest. He's still leaving them here to deny the munitions point. So, in some ways, Caesar's handling this, I think, reasonably calmly, actually, considering what Theodosius is doing. He's not panicking. He's not retracting everything to deal with it. So he's displaying there an awful lot of self-control and restraint in the face of Theodosius' attack on his carve point and his fuel point. That's certainly something that I think deserves a bit of merit. Mortar there hammering away, Grenadiers quickly dodging it. Mortar flying towards the north here to force up the reasons, will quickly shift over towards the fuel point there. Back here we finally got take up them, we got reasons flanking up behind. Do we have flamethrowers on the way? No. But still could catch the mortars out in the open there. Doing nothing to defend his own fuel point, even as he's taking his opponent. We got pressure in the south here from the pioneers of Theodosius and the elite Panzer Division. Fresh troops occupying the house there, denying it, making it harder there for Theodosios to get it. Even as he's losing his fuel point. It's only going to be an interesting split here of the map then between these two players. A note that he still going to have this point connected due to the cutoff point and the victory point. Bit risky than a bit extended. Once he can actually connect through here, and that's likely what he's going to do there, though he can't then defend it. So, bit of a weird start here between both players. So again, it is the result of Theodosios playing the Wehrmacht rather aggressively, using a machine gun aggressively, just positioning himself in such a manner he can sort of make the push there. This only displays some foresight there and some, knowledge of wanting to actually do it. So that's very interesting to note there by Theodosios. Definitely one way of playing Kholodny Ferma. If you can do it as a Wehrmacht, you generally tend to get a good upper hand. In particular, the opponent actually does panic and begin rushing everything down there. But of course, again, Caesar displaying solid self-restraint and control. Bunker up here, no luck to make a nice company as yet, and mortar back here, but now we can see Theodosios that are extended, didn't cover his flanks very well, and also I think too slow to take up. Either way though, Caesar's now pushing back there, having again shirt restraint, caution, and it's now sort of moving back. Though it's taking heavy losses there to the mortar bar way. Several units almost wiped out there. Small victory for Theodosios, tactically. But now Caesar risks actually getting 2 fuel points ahead of Theodosios, which is going to be a problem. Though we got the mortar thing up there. Could come under fire there from Theodosios' mortar instead. Like to make a nice company up there. Grenadiers reinforcing, and should be reinforcing. Bunker being upgraded. Sanitation on the way, and Grenadiers need to retreat as well. Low in health. And moving northwards, they're managing to capture the fuel point for the fatherland. We got the mortar there trying to silence the American mortar, the 81 there retreating. Fun fact though, while it might sound a bit extreme how the Germans sort of formed a lot of their, instructional personnel and all that into an elite division, it wasn't too uncommon either. I mean, normally, in fact, while they do that, before that point, was usually there'd be like a battalion formed occasionally from time to time throughout the war of just these instructors from different units, and that way sent to the front line to gain a new experience to teach back at their courses. Like, you'd have a Grenadier Lehrbattalion, Artillerie Lehrbattalion, Panzer Grenadier Lehrbattalion, sort of here and there. For example, in Stalingrad, there was a Pioneer Lehr Battalion of, for example, fought there. So that's a little interesting note there for those unawares. Forces heading northwards there. MG42 covering up. Need to grab the fuel point as well, but I'm guessing that's not happening right away here for Theodosios. More pressure here from Caesar's mortar. Caesar there, the lieutenant. They'll push back. He could consider an M20 here. He could go for the 50 caliber. He could go for the anti-aircraft after he goes to Theodosios. The options are many. As for Theodosios, he's also got options here like vehicles, flamethrower half-track, 222s, Panzer Grenadier or Pat 40 if he's worried about vehicles. Pushing up his machine gun aggressively to shoot directly at the mortar here. Theodosios stops at nothing to punish the Americans who have invaded sacred German soil. But we're in Holland, Ludwig. Silence, everything is Germany. You should know that. Everything belongs to Germany. Holland is merely fiction in the face of Germany. Anyway, so they're pushing back the Grenadiers. 74-2 Grenadiers moving northwards there to try and push out the American from the munitions compartment there. We got flamethrowers up finally. We also got bazookas up there, so we know here that he is going for weapon racks and is slowly upgrading his forces, though he's initially focusing there a bit on bazookas. Probably expecting some kind of like vehicle push, and we do have a 222 up here for Theodosios and the Panzer Lehr Panzer Division. Rather they're caught out on the run by the 222, and without mention 2-1, they have no way to defend themselves against the 222, and we can see Theodosios is very eager to punish that fact. We got something up there, but without bazookas, they are also easy targets for the 222. The 50 caliber on the other hand, supporting the rear stunts would be a bigger problem for the 222. We got but while they're briefly thought he might laying down S-mines there, which could be really rather sneaky, if could be a bit difficult there for Caesar to see until it's too late. MG4 setting up in the northern house. Caesar still maintaining that good map control he gained after hitting Theodosios very surgically. You got the 222 northwards here, pushing back Caesar's forces once more, dispersing them. Ambulance filling up the Caesar's provide medical support for his own men. Theodosios going for a Pack 40 here. Noting, oh, we do have light machine guns, at least for one Grenadier squad there. Though he might want to begin pushing into the south again, so that way force Caesar to defend a bit more there. Mortar hammering away there, trying to silence any German positions. While German mortars are trying to do the same thing to the mortar. And we got the ambulance out here. Back at base, we got more BARs being handed out there for Caesar's forces. No sign of anything further there. He might be planning straight next up for the Major, and lastly armour, which would not be a bad choice, though he might want to consider fuel cache to support this move. Of course, Theodosios could also benefit from more or less the same thing, taking up and setting up fuel cache. Wiring off there, though, first before heading southwards. Grenadiers advancing on the increasingly decrepit church. No sermons, I believe, shall be held in that one anymore. Pretty sure some sermon would collapse that.
Could use some action to keep warm. Yeah.
50 cal sitting out there. Theodosios here a bit on the waiting. Oh, there you go. Church collapsed. Luckily was paying attention, and there you go, pushing to the north, quickly hold up by the M42 Grenadiers covering the flank. He can also rush up the 2-2 to further support it, forcing any Americans there to be cautious. In the south there, Pioneers maybe about to walk into a 50 caliber. In the centre, Lieutenant moving up, they're using the church rubble as cover. And over here, overall, the machine gun position a bit difficult, therefore ceased to crack without a mortar support. Good thing he has one, though he's not using a smoke screen to that way neutralise it. Got to push up for the centre, Lieutenant, more flamethrowers. But the 2-2 and the Grenadiers could be quite a threat, and there you go, the Rearstons take losses as Lieutenant Gruber kills some poor Yank. North point there being secured, Grenadiers they're covering up. The 2-2 here serving to give Theodosios a nice amount of flexibility and actually deterring any attempts there for movement on the infantry, and that you got the 2-2. Tends to be a solid choice. Personally, I would recommend going for 2-2-2. It's a bit more expensive fuel-wise, but no more expensive than, say, a T-70 or Stuart, and can generally sort of, you know, punish infantry if they sort of push too far ahead. Can be used aggressively to pursue the enemy and all do a lot of damage. Still, 1-2-2 can also do well. And certainly confer some mobility, but without nearly expensive. Though he should really take up soon here, though. Herr Theodosios of the Panzer Division. Which I'm not entirely sure what actually had 2-2s. They probably had 234s, the bigger cousin there with 8 wheels, and Luxus. The 2-2 overall by 1944 was being phased out in favour of a 250 half-track version that was better off-road, whereas this one wasn't really good. It was basically a civilian car design they just converted to an armoured car. As a fun side note. In fact, a lot of the early German scout car designs were in fact just civilian car designs converted to sort of more military purposes. So that's a little fun side note there. We got Rearson from the Lieutenant pushing northwards there. He's certainly intent on not just pressing in one point, but actually sort of trying to extend Theodosios and that way catch him off guard. Very good there by Caesar. No Stalingrad syndrome from him. Push up for the centre, but there goes still a lot of angry Germans with a lot of angry guns. But still launching several attacks here, or extending Theodosios' lines. Also his attention. Bit risky in some ways. And there, oh, he's got grenades. There you go, a machine gun up north gone, so he can actually push through there. Of course, he's sitting up here. Grenades could pop the machine gun, right pushing up. He'll be taking fire there from the 2-2 Grenadiers. Light machine guns blazing away. No grenades yet. There he goes. Realised he has to get the M42 up before it's lost to a grenade. Assault from the north finally picks up pace there for Caesar. Once more, Grenadiers swat on the retreat. Better lost there through Theodosios. Well, believe it is finally taking up. There's certainly been a drop in his manpound fuel. More Grenadiers on the way there for Theodosios. No Panzer Grenadier though. He would benefit, I think, amply from that instead. Attack from the north here. Got the 2-2 moving in. Rearstons are heading for the point without bazooka. The 2-2 can't deal with it. But of course, there's the other Rearston score with a bazooka as well, and that one he can't ignore. I mean, that one has actually one, that one doesn't. There you go, counter-attack here. Theodosios at the same time pressuring in the south there. Those would be his pioneers moving about down south, not quite so needed in the current combat situations. There you go, drive straight in front of the Rearstons there with the 2-2, but still does a lot of damage there. Not quite felling anyone in service of the fatherland, but leaving them quite battered and beaten up. They have to cover there, pushing for the centre victory point. Through the crater terrain, the road not quite as solid as one used to be after the careful administrations of American and German artillery. You really should prioritise getting that to Pomacop as fast as possible. In the meanwhile, though, Caesar is finally taking up himself as well, so Theodosios doesn't look like he'll be able to push out any arm. There's a slight edge there ahead of Caesar. Bit on south here, Pioneers need to retreat. We got the riflemen in the double BA. Oh, just one. Oh, he's not paying attention. He's not. Oh, dear. Got away, though, but Talk about lucky there for Caesar. Mortar landing off some more hits, gaining eventually 7 kills. In service of das Vaterland. 2 needs some repairs. Seeing Theodosios became increasingly float manpower. Definitely needs to expend it somewhere. I would still recommend a Panzer Grenadier squad at the very least. I think that would serve quite well there. Major up for Caesar, a major move. You got the support core finally going up for Theodosios. Troops trying to change the name before 2 grenades with the can as well. You could smoke it with a rifle or with a mortar. Mortar would obviously be free, but less immediate. In the meanwhile, Caesar setting up fuel cache in the cutoff point. Very good. Though part of me would probably suggest around here. A bit further removed and lastly a bit harder to spot. Since if the Theodosios attacks head on, that's going to be a pretty easy target. But we'll have to see what ends up with. There's a Palmer Corps, they're almost done, and by the looks of things, Theodosios will probably get a Panzer IV before Caesar can get out any tanks. So that's pretty good there for him tactically and strategically. There you go, roughing it on the mortar, and shot it actually a bit too far there, allowing the mortar to get away. They're close here for Theodosios, but not quite. Instead, we got Rearsons there charging forth the flamethrowers, ready to burn some krauts into crisps. That's chips. Crisps is British. Shut up, Carl. 50 cover here in the centre, tank fire there from the mortar. Almost wiping their 50 caliber. We could actually steal that would be pretty good there for Theodosios. Pretty potent machine gun. And obviously just denying it to Caesar is also very potent in his own right. But he's just really, really good, so you kind of just want it. There we go. Just need to immediately hit retreat there. Go. A lot of BARs firing at it though. They like cover around here and the retreat bonus does will help. Plus the fact is the 50 calibers really, really easy to pick up. And apparently also really easy to retreat with this bar, I think, weighing about 50 kilos. Panzer IV there in the way for Theodosios, almost done to support the Panzer Division in its fight against those dirty Americans. They're so dirty, Helmut. Just look at them. It's all green. I think that's a uniform. You can't be serious. Would wear olive green as a uniform on purpose. Troops are reinforcing healing. Got the Panzer IV setting up with a pin-up machine gun on the way. Pack 40 exposed. Big assault here from Caesar. Got the 2-2 there, pummeling away, getting off a few hits there. Panzer IV might want to get moving there, 50 caliber setting up. Caesar certainly knows how to pull off an attack there versus Theodosios. But Theodosios certainly knows how to pull off a defense to an extent. Are we hitting reinforcement down there? Big assault here on the Panzer IV. Bazooka misses spectacularly. 2-2, and there you go. Panzer IV forces retreat. Cut off one hit though by Caesar's brave GIs. And there you go, Caesar is getting out his first tank there. It's going to be the EC-8 Sherman with its 76mm high velocity gun there. Rifle note suffering catastrophic in the face of the Panther IV. 2-2 supporting certainly doesn't hurt. But it obviously hurts the Americans, but not Theodosios. Still got that Sherman on the way. We've got a second 50 cover there for Caesar to replace the one lost to the Germans. But it's going to be a lot harder for Caesar's infantry to get anywhere since Theodosios now has 2 machine guns and one of them is really, really good. And of course really, really big. The Germans didn't have much of an actual heavy machine gun themselves though. If you sort of look for a lot of sort of how to describe the 2cm flak and how they utilise it, increasingly though, they just used the 2cm flak as a heavy machine gun in particular once it really wasn't very good versus aircraft anyways. It was pretty much just relegated towards, you know, shooting up infantry really, really well duties and light vehicles. That's a little fun side note there. Some of these out in the open, there's a rifle in negative cover. Light machine guns are doing quite a bit of damage. Cash down, and then we still see the bit of the issue about placing it specifically there to help protect the cutoff point. But, you know, it's also a pretty fat target. But there you go, EC-8 striking at the Panzer IV. Panzer IV gets a return hit. 50 cover, they need to retreat as well. EC-8 misses. Pack 40 is there gobbling up an EC-8 as well. Need to retreat that very quickly before it gets taken out here by German anti-tank firepower. And there goes escape successfully. Rearson pushing up through the centre, but right into machine gun fire, Panzer fire, and just lots and lots of fire. North skirmishing going up between Grenadiers and the Lieutenant. Note, while he has not upgraded the Lieutenant with a second BAR, that's certainly something Caesar's Lieutenant could have benefited from greatly. So they do have cover, the Grenadiers have none, but they do have the 2-2. Just blasting away, that's going to be a wipe there, I think. If he's really lucky, he gets a BAR left behind, but he does not. Still, 2-2, they're serving Theodosios nicely. Again, its mobility is a great asset to the Wehrmacht. Here's the pushing force spoiled by 50 cal, and mortar fire continues to rain down here around the, well, fort position established by Caesar. behind an increasingly decrepit house. Healing reinforcement going on. Rifle falling back. He's still flooding manpower. I really think Theodosios would benefit from some Panzer Grenadier or caches himself. I mean, a fuel cache here would certainly protect him a lot versus all that harassment that's going on. And the way the map is designed, I mean, again, the thing is, considering the way the map is designed, this one is just more obviously out in the open, considering it sort of more easily follows the flow of the natural road, whereas this one is sort of more hidden away, so here it makes more sense for fuel cache, whereas this one is just more naturally exposed. It's sort of a bit of weird sort of design of the map, but that's how it goes. More pioneers in the way there for Theodosios that prepares vehicles, definitely not a bad choice. You could go for Stug, which versus EC8 would be a pretty solid choice. But Panzer Grenadiers here would still also be a good choice, considering there's a lot of roaming, angry riflemen with BARs. One of the Grenadiers without machine gun certainly help, supported by the mortar. Panzer Grenadiers would certainly, I think, give Theodosios here a bit of an extra edge. A lot of mortar fire still running about. You could also consider just going for a second mortar and just ending, but there you go, we got a white phosphorus strike here, called in on the centre. On the Germans, the Americans were quite fond of white phosphorus throughout the war, using it liberally, even having it for the tanks. Got the 2-2 rolling out there. So right, they're pretty much just clearing the entire centre of Germans, because it's a bad idea there for Theodosios' forces to stick about. It might not kill, but it really, really quickly damages and makes them really, really easy to kill. So it tends to be in the hands of a clever American player, a really good tool. Theodosios, though, looks to be aiming for a second Panzer IV, which I would have to describe as being a bit risky, particularly opponent, you know, pull in more EC8s, and, you know, 2 EC8s versus 2 Panzer IVs is going to be not favoured by the Panzer IVs, considering they cost almost the same. But the EC8 does have more health, more armour, more penetration, and smoke, naturally. Theodosios has yet to go for a doctrine. That's definitely not good. And I do think Theodosios would benefit immensely from actually choosing a doctrine. I mean, guess could be, you know, lightning war. Sort of the common, you know, oh, I don't know what to do at mid or early game, but I'm just going to get myself a Tiger anyways, sort of doctrine. Yeah. Lightning war. Not the most innovative choice here by Theodosios. Nothing that's going to go down in history as, you know, an amazing play. Or even just a crazy play like, you know, stuffing your Rangers in an ambulance. Like, this is just pretty standard. Box standard. Grenadiers pushing ahead here, Panzer IV waiting repairs, and looks like then Theodosios is going to play for the Tiger tank. Of course, with the lightning war, there is the Stuka close air support with its 2 Kanonenvogeln, and that one does offer the option there to stall for the Tiger, though he would still benefit a lot from just getting a fuel cache at 2 and, you know, not floating 800 manpower. As for Caesar, though, he does now seem to be falling a bit into the pattern of Stalingrad syndrome. If you're noticing, most of the action is now happening around the centre. There's less overall attempts of breaking through the north, and certainly not supported by his tank. Or for that matter, an attempt to flank the south or centre through the south here. That way, maybe catching Theodosios a bit off guard. Of course, an option for Caesar, once he knows there's going to be Stuka support in, will be calling in a half-track to help sort of cover the skies. It is pretty good at that. Another white phosphorus battery in the Pack 40 in the area around there. And there's in the centre being exposed to it. Mostly, though, just France. How would you look at it? France got covered in such shives. Yeah, look at him coughing, clearly in pain. I think we're actually supposed to be horrified at that. But overall here, Caesar reacts pretty weakly to this, actually. Just falls back. I'm guessing, obviously, he doesn't want to throw away the second Sherman before he has... Well, the first Sherman before he has the second one out, in which case, of course, puts for some big advantage, but... Still think at some point he feels a bit too passive there versus Theodosios. Still he's hit landing some good hits in the Panzer IV, taking down to half health while not taking a single penetrating hit. The overall only really increase in armor protection on the EC8 was basically on the turret, which was basically when that moved over from the 75 to the 76mm and got a bigger turret on it. Frontal armor on the hull was roughly the same. Troops in the centre of the game blasted by the Grenadiers, taking a few hits from the rifles and BRs as well. No smoke. Oh, it did pop one then the machine gun, very good. Pops up, let's grenade it. But troops are taking heavy fire. We got the 50 cal on the Grenadiers there. got the Mark II panel grenade there, and almost wipes the M42. Very good. Mortar not recruit though here by Caesar. Second EC8 arriving, and up north we've got continued pressure. We also got the 222s roaming about, threatening pain and destruction. I'm not sure what Caesar's up to there with his dual EC8, but there you go. Panzer Force reach Vetri 2, got the Schützen up, increasing its armour, making it a bit more lethal, and also gains better turret rotation, which is certainly not bad either. And there you go, attacking from the south here. EC8 racing at one, here by the veterans one, thus they're getting a bonus when there's other tanks around. So few players tend to utilise that one, I think. But there you go, landing the several hits there. It increases its rate of fire amongst other things. There we go, mortar wipe. We got the Panzer IV Pack 4 firing at EC8, he quickly moves back. We could have smoked and tried to rush it with the Shermans, but then again there's a Grenadiers in the way, so that probably would have been less efficient. Either way, they took out the mortar, wiped its veterancy. That's a definite tactical victory for Caesar, as that veteran 3 mortar was increasingly proving to be a pain in his posterior. But Theodosios, on the other hand, has been able to stall the game for sufficiently long enough to actually be able to call in the Tiger soon enough. In that regard, Caesar needs to put more pressure on the flanks there. Again, he's, I think, focusing a bit too much in the centre there, and not trying to sort of flank out manoeuvre sort of Theodosios aggressively enough and pull off something greater there. Now he's putting up the rear centre for the centre. We got victory point there. Rafman trying to get the machine gun set, getting pummeled. Everything German, and there you go. Tiger's already here to support the Panzer there, Panzer Division. In the centre there, Panzer IV provides ample fire support for the start German infantry, and there you go. Got the E-set moving up the half-way to 2, but the Tiger is arriving for Theodosios and the Panzer there, Panzer Division. And that's going to put Caesar and the 1st Armoured Division in a sticky situation. But if you can, of course, keep the EC8s together and keep them, high with veterancy, they should stand a good chance, though. Since EC8s also with veterancy, get a pretty high rate of fire, particularly when they stick together using their radio net bonus. I don't think they get quite the M4C Sherman level of bonus, but it gets some pretty heavy ones, which combined with other stuff makes them pretty nasty. There you go, pushing in here, but there you go, Tiger arrives, 88mm gun shoots, penetrates the EC8's armour like a hot knife through butter. Good German knife through weak American butter, which may even be margarine. Yes, those swine, margarine. Got Tiger there being flanked here by the EC8, Panzer IV blitzing away, halfway to Veteran 3, no point in wasting such experienced German crews. Isn't that right, Rasputin? Yes. Probably Rasputin that wants to get outside. The fussy little cat. Tiger there opening up. Got the EC8 rolling backwards. Veteran 2 still on the way for that one. Both of them Veterans 1, so it definitely benefits from having them working together because this radio net bonus. 2 thereby making use of its infantry awareness ability. Basically, Theodosios is trying to spot out if Caesar's trying to launch a flanking assault or any attack through here, since basically it gives away on the minimap where they're coming from. Need to be careful there with this Tiger, though. Caesar here might benefit from adding in a few more bazookas where they can. I mean, upgrading the Mega, for example, with adult bazookas is an easy way of creating an anti-tank team additionally. Otherwise, he's going to need a Jackson here, I think, to support the EC8s versus all the mighty armour that Theodosios has arrayed on parade to destroy the Americans. Those tires going to need a few repairs there. North, they're going to be swarmed away here by the riflemen as they charge forwards. Heavily equipped with BARs, the Browning automatic rifle. We got the Panzer IV inbound. Charges forwards. One squad immediately retreats. That might have been a misclick there by him. Second one does a bit of damage, getting veteran feet, but it's still in front of a veteran Panzer crew, and the BARs won't be able to do anything, maybe except annoy the crew. Looks like he's now trying to buy time for the EC8s with Norfords. Pushing up through the centre, a bit through the south as well though. But all the armour is now moving northwards here. So the reasons they won't be able to do as much good. Got machine gun covering the area here as well. Grenade on the Grenadiers, almost wrapped up, but there you go. EC8 versus the Tiger tank supported here by the Panzer IV and a Pack 40. Still doing some damage here, taking down to half health. Quickly forced to fall back nonetheless, since all the other firepower pretty much meant they wouldn't be able to last long in the face of this German mobile group. Ooh, wipe the rifle squad. Got a return hit though from the EC8 on the Panzer IV. Hang on, Cat wants to get out. And that Cat can get really noisy if it wants to. Almost got a grenadier squad there, but Theodosios managed to pull it back here. Stug on the way to support him now. He's taking no chances. Caesar, on the other hand, is not bringing up any tank soldiers. He's just bringing up more EC8s. Which would be alright if he's sort of, used to more aggressive with flanking and smoke screens and whatnot. But the way he's using them, he'd probably honestly be better off than Jackson, so that way, deal with the tanks. Because he's so far not looking to flank the tiger, just engaging it head on. In that regard, with all the other stuff supporting it, he'd be better off with the Jackson. Just better damage, better penetration, better range. Now we got one here charging through the centre. Bit of a smarter manoeuvre up there maybe, just a diversionary attack, making Theodosios think something here. The problem is of course the Pack 40 just pivots about to deal with the EC8 there. Halfway to eventually through there. We got White Phosphorus up here to deal with the Pack 40. There we go, third EC8 out. We also got the Stug 3G here later to support the Panzer from Stug up Thailand 228. The pin button machine there being added. Attacking the centre there. So two veteranry 2 EC8s, one half-H veteranry 3. Generally not bad, in particular again when they work together. If you can lay down a sufficiently large smoke screen, it could probably catch the Theodosios off guard, isolate some of his elements sufficiently long enough to overwhelm some of the others with the firepower. But looks like here he's going to use the non-veteran one, maybe as decoys a bit, try and flank up for him. But instead, oh dear! You see Theodosios is not going to wait here for Caesar to do whatever he wants. He's launching a head-on assault. He's going to try and bait it into the Stug 205 Panther, getting veteran 3. Tiger though a bit late to the party here, but nonetheless, I think might be putting a bit of range there in Caesar's plans. Panther taking one penetrating hit, just keeps firing away there. Veteran 3 has a high rate of fire, but there you go. You see it's penetrating the armour, easily needs to fall back. Stug covering still, and there you go. Good hit, good hit. And there you go, right from the Tiger tank. And a fresh attack into the north here. Caesar in this regard being pretty predictable. Interesting enough, Theodosios could just lay down machine gun bunker too. Also interesting that he just called in air support to support his push into the centre had he coordinated better. Just Tiger first, Panzer IV, Stug, and then as he sort of engages them, he calls in air support. That way catching Caesar's armoured force and then a very bad spot. Noticing the telemine there, actually not a bad spot by Theodosios. Not a bad spot at all. Mortifying the Tiger tank, fails to penetrate, though technically if it hit the engine block it could actually do quite a lot of damage. For example, there's a Tiger tank a Tiger 2 in fact, in Arnhem that was knocked out because a mortar round hit the radiators. So in that regard, tanks could be surprisingly vulnerable. And now setting up for a big flank through the south, but will he have the sufficient nerve and ability to pull through here? I mean, if he pulls it off successfully, it could be devastating, but it's going to require smoke screens to basically minimize incoming damage as much as possible. And so far, I do not see a single smoke screen here from the Shermans. Instead, he's just, stopping up there, allowing him to take full damage. No smoke at all. EC8 down that one hit by 2-3. We've got air support going with Theodosios now. He's charging everything. Got infantry support them from up for the south, but he's used the assault lacked smoke here, to be honest. This assault would, I think, worked out a lot better, not successfully. With smoke, then again, the air support team pretty much wrecked it as well. So ultimately, might have been doomed either way, because without anti-aircraft support, he's got no ways dealing with the Luftwaffe. And there you go, all EC8s down there. Huge blow there to Caesar. A glorious victory for Theodosios and Germany. And good job getting a veteran 3 Panzer IV. It certainly is tricky, but if you can actually get a bit Panzer IV veteran 3, you've definitely earned it. Fun fact, Panzer IVs with armoured skirts are actually confused quite often with Tiger tanks. And so many allies, for example, in the West, Western Front in Normandy would, you know, occasionally write down they took out a lot of Tiger tanks, when in reality they just took down a bunch of Panzer IVs. So, little fun fact there. And there you go, GG, game over. Caesar here has fallen in the face of Theodosios and the Panzerlehr, and his panzers well handled. Overall, I think the bigger issues with Caesar there was increasingly got too focused in the centre, not often on his flank. I mean, he was able to initially flank his opponent quite well, but sort of dropped off there, which is definitely a mistake. He was also, I think, in some cases too slow in equipping his infantry sufficient with BARs and bazookas when he could have. For example, the lieutenant could have benefited a lot from it. But overall, he should have just utilised a lot more smoke. I mean, that was really, I think, Caesar's big mistake there. I mean, Sherman smoke is really potent if utilised correctly. Can just eliminate support weapons or just allow it to close in there. I mean, compared with my match previously, you know, yesterday, where I was able to, you know, just charge head on there thanks to the smoke screen, just, you know, negating incoming fire. And that's generally what you want to use smoke for. Just minimise the incoming fire. You should then sort of push through and then hit all the soft spots then supported by infantry. So had Caesar been able to coordinate his battles a bit better, he probably could have pulled through there. As for Theodosios, again, aggressive start, could have covered his flanks a bit better, maybe used his manpower more efficiently. That could have been Panzer Grenadiers, caches, whatnot. But he pulled through. Good use of Panzer IV. Good use of the 2-2, which by the way also survived all the way through at the end there. Certainly highlighting that can also be quite useful in fighting there. And I think some Wehrmacht players tend to sort of underestimate its actual potency and utility. Oh, he could also made use of good smoke though. That could also benefit Theodosius Bennett a lot, and he could also go on for a doctrine much sooner and, you know, make better use of that. So there's definitely also room for improvement on Theodosius' side. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and some feedback in the comments section. If you like what I do on a daily basis, do consider supporting by pledging on Patreon, of course, supporting or donating by PayPal, and of course, a big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, with which this episode would not be possible. So thank you all, and see you all tomorrow for another Sonic episode. Bye.